live. Ik weet niet of ze vanavond gaan joinen. Ik weet niet of ze vanavond zou joinen.
Ek dink of vanaf is.
You have reached the mailbox of 0.
We live. What's up, everybody? Is that my camera?
Yes.
Awesomeness, Els. What's happening, Omi?
Lekker, ja.
Lekker. All good in the hood. We're about to give the most kick-ass presentation to first-time buyers. Had a bit of problems with my computer. Zoom is still not in, but I'm busy joining into Zoom now. Internet's back on. Boom, boom, boom. I just want to send the presentation to myself here on the computer. I love the image that you used on the presentation. It's too cool. You guys are gonna freaking love it. It's a proper lach. Okay, there we go. Receive the PDF. Boom. That's the one that we're gonna use today. Thank you very much. Some people at least joining ourselves.
Ja.
Sign in. Let's just kick Zoom. Webinars. Accept all cookies. Webinars. And here we freaking go. Start. Share my screen. Allow. And we are live, baby. Boom. Boom. Done. All right. Start. And I'm going to kick off the video. So while it's loading, I'm going to give you guys a couple of stories, couple of scenarios that actually happened to me today. One happened while we were busy shooting content with those Mahindra buckies. Do you remember? You were still shaking your head
Yes.
for a while there. Join a meeting. Sorry, you were shaking your head at my phone call, Els?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It wasn't the best call ever. Customer training start. Let's try again. Allow. Got a bit of problems with my laptop today. Start. Okay, here we go. This is going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Very good one. Okay, cool. Here we go. Turn up volume. Let's quickly call Elena. How many people are on, Els?
I'm going to tell you in 2 minutes or 2 seconds. 75.
75 people. What's the word, hummingbird?
I see 2 of you, one with a cigar, one underneath.
3. One at the back.
3. Yeah.
Do you see the
I'm
cigar?
waiting.
How do you see the cigar? I'm not sharing my screen yet.
So,
No, but it's the way in which it's presented.
Oh, cool.
So it's
I just saw that now.
the top half, yes.
That's too
So I'm
funny.
checking all channels, but so far so good.
That's too funny, Els. So I posted, Elena posted something on Facebook last night, and it was just me having a cigar at an event, and there's some creative fan that took that and then he made this up. So from that post to this, and then we just cartooned it. It's quite cool. So 3 main reasons a deal declines. If all the platforms are working sweet, I'm ready to go. All right, cool. Els, you happy?
happiness.
I was ready to go and she was ready to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, so in real time, I had 2 calls today. Normally I have 2 or 3 a day. Customer phones in, Uncle Bobby, I watch all your videos on TikTok. I have been a fan for the last 2 years. I really like your work. I need your help. Sweet. Do you want to buy a car, sell a car? No, I want to buy a car. Okay, finance or cash, finance. But I've been to 4 other dealers and I've been declined. I need your help. So how long have you been watching our content? At least 2 years. Okay, please stop watching our content and just block me rather, because you don't listen. I've done this training many times, and after a couple of questions, I found out that that consumer is actually trying to buy a very old car with a very low score, and he gets declined everywhere he goes. So eventually what happens is he gets blocked. That's why I said, rather block me, because it's not sinking in. So if it doesn't sink in, then, you're wasting your time watching me. Go and watch Cats or whatever it is that people watch on YouTube. No, Uncle Bobby, don't be like that. So we had a laugh. Anyway, there are the 3 main reasons why a transaction is declined. Are the people joining? As I see,
Yes,
Zoom is
sir.
also starting to get busier here. Okay, perfect. So I think we can kick it off. It's safe to kick it off. You have to see it this way. You have to align all 3. It's almost the perfect storm in order for you to get approved and validated on a vehicle today in South Africa, especially when you're a first-time buyer. This is crucial. The customer that has never bought a vehicle through finance before is a very high risk. You might have had a cell phone account and a little credit card and a little Fushini account that you've just managed to build your ITC score up. But at the end of the day, the bank is making an investment into you, the person, holding the vehicle, the asset, which is a movable asset, possession of the paperwork, but they don't know how you're going to treat the car. Are you going to maintain the car? Are you going to have the car insured? Even though legally you have to have insurance while finance, that's part of your contract process. Many people don't. Many people, Zoom link shared anywhere. Elena's missing the Zoom link. Okay, so you're on it. So many people will get the car insured just to take delivery and then cancel insurance and drive carefully. It's like the most dumbest thing that you can do, because the moment that insurance is like a grudge purchase, you don't want insurance. It's like medical aid. No one wants to pay a whole lot of money on medical aid. No one. No, like literally no one. It's a grudge purchase. But the moment you fall sick and you want to go and be in a private hospital, have great health care, nurses, doctors, top tier stuff to look after you, glad that you had medical aid. The same with insurance. People cancel the insurance. They have a prank with the car. I'm not using the car anymore. I'm not going to pay for it. The bank will go and repossess the vehicle that's a wreck, sell it for peanuts, and still sue you for the balance. And you'll pay the balance. Otherwise, it remains on your name forever and a day. So having said that, in order for you to align all 3, you have to be smart when you apply. You have to know the rules of the game so that you have a high probability of success. The first rule is equity. The second rule is affordability. And the third rule is risk. So all 3 affect the transaction equally. You'll see at the end of the presentation, the risk part is divided into 2. So risk split into 2. It will be 50% on the car, 50% on you. But in order for us to get there, we have to make sure that the equity, affordability, and risk all meet the minimum criteria. And here's what they are. This is very simple stuff, guys. It's just people are stubborn that know this, but mostly people don't understand this. And when it's explained to them in a way I'm about to explain it to you, it clicks in, it makes sense, and they say, okay, cool, we appreciate you. Let's do it your way, because your way works. Okay, equity. There we go. When it comes to equity, where the risk is low on the client, the percentage over retail that will be allowed is 140%. As the risk grows, the percentage will need to be reduced to achieve an approval. Sometimes, we see it often, 80% of retail will be approved. 80%. So if retail on a car is 100,000 Rand and the dealer is selling it for 100,000 Rand, you'll get a one bank approval sometimes, and they will require 20,000 Rand deposit. So the customer's risk is so high that they're willing to do 80% of retail. That's an exception. Normally, a very low risk customer can go up to 140. So for the simple sake of maths, if the retail value on the car is 100,000 Rand and you're a top G customer, you've bought many cars, they'll allow 140. If the car is selling for 150, the bank will then require 10,000 deposit, but go all the way up to 140%. If you are a high risk, i.e. a new or first time buyer of a vehicle, the maximum that we see is about 110 to 120% of retail, but mostly about 110. Anything above that, the bank will require a deposit. So affordability, the ratio is 30% of gross. So the effect will be the following. If you earn 20,000 Rand, you can pay 6 towards a car. Okay. If you want to buy a vehicle for 7 per month, then the dealer will need to structure either a longer term, so not go 72 months, go 84 months or 96 months, or add a residual value. Ultimately, they could also, to make the deal work, ask you for a deposit, okay, in order to get the affordability right. So you're balancing equity, you're balancing affordability, and then you're balancing the risk. And the risk is split into two. One is obviously on the customer. So you're going to be a high risk customer as a first time buyer or new to credit. And the way that you counter that, it needs to be a low risk car. So high risk customer, low risk car. What is a low risk car? The banks employ hundreds of mathematicians and what is the actual word? Actuaries. Sorry, it just slipped away from me for a little bit. Actuaries. So they go and they take big data and they say, okay, cool. So if we look at a brand like, and I don't want to back Peugeot or bring them down, but if you look at a brand like Peugeot, let's have a look at historically. When we repo a Peugeot, what percentage of retail do we actually get for a Peugeot? Well, let's say 70%. Okay, cool. So then that is more or less what we'll finance on a Peugeot, especially an older one. If we look at a perfect example, if we look at a Toyota Corolla Cross, what percentage of retail do we get on that car? Well, sometimes we get 110% of retail on the Westbank auction, and that means that's a low risk car. So the newer, lower risk car that you have, the higher the probability of success for you as a first time or new to credit buyer. I'm going to go slowly again. Equity, under 140% if you're a very good customer, preferably at 110% if you are new to finance. So typically a 2025 Renault Kiger selling at retail will be quite easy to finance. 2025 Polo Vivo selling at retail will be quite easy to finance for a person that is new to finance, however can afford it, which is the second point, the 30% of gross. If you earn 10,000 Rand, 3 may go towards a car. Okay. If you want to pay 5,000 Rand worth of an installment on a 10,000 Rand income, the bank will decline you. So you can't afford the car. On the flip side, if you go and you take a 100% in line equity, 100% in line income, a low risk customer, and you're a first time buyer, and you go and try and apply for 2016 320D with 150,000 Ks with red seats and M Sport mags because you want to be seen in the neighborhood that you grew up in, that you've made it, you've arrived with a BMW, well, the bank declines you. Why do they decline you? Because the probability that you can maintain that vehicle on your salary, which is maxed out, is very, very low, which means there's a repo coming. You're eventually not going to take care of the car or maybe skip payments or uninsure the vehicle. It's going to end up bad for them. They'll decline you. If you are 50 years old and you've bought 17 cars in your life, 5 through HP, the last 5 was sweet, there was no issues, no problems, Take the 2015 BMW, not a problem. You know what you're doing. You're a ground person. Your brain has developed enough. You can do it. So balancing equity, affordability, risk on your side. If you're a low risk customer, go and buy that BMW 2015. If you're a high risk customer, the newer the better, as long as you're balancing your affordability and you're also balancing your equity. Okay, happy hours.
Happiness, thank you.
Next slide. All right. Okay, if a deal gets declined, here's probably the number one question the customer should ask their salesperson. Unfortunately, many salespeople don't know how to answer it. Even more, don't have the actual information from the finance and insurance team. So at a dealership, there's this constant tug of war. And the tug of war is the finance and insurance department, very regulated, very educated, lots of tests and exams. It's a process. It's a very, very difficult job to do. They almost always see each other as slightly above the salespeople. So the salespeople, because normally sales, it's almost always gray area. You know, finance and insurance is black and white. If you don't have this, you can't go forward. If then, if then, sales is all gray. If the customer doesn't have 6 months bank statements but only has 4, we can still work out the average income and produce some sort of an amount, or we can wait until tomorrow and get the bank statements, but he sent it to another dealer and that dealer is going to get the approval and take my deal. Can we do it with 4? So it's all gray area, quick thinking on your feet, whereas F&I is black and white. So what tends to happen at dealerships, and this is very hard to manage. It took me many, many years to figure out how to actually manage this properly. What you have to realize is the communication between F&I and salespeople has to be very good. So if you are declined on a vehicle as a first-time buyer, you need to understand why you were declined. So I always speak of podiums. You know, send me the podium, let me check my interest rate, because some dealers lift interest rate to get DIC, to enrich themselves. That's not the only reason. Send me the podium. Why was I declined? Once you know why you declined, it's one of 3. It's equity, affordability, or risk. Equity, affordability, or risk. If you're behind on payments, I'm going to give you a couple of scenarios. If you're behind on payments and you've got judgments against your name, or you've been sequestrated, it's a risk problem. And the risk lies on you. No matter, you can have a 2030 model car, the bank won't approve you because you are bad risk. It's below the threshold. I'm talking about new customers, and I'm talking about new to finance customers that don't have baggage, that don't have a lot of stuff that's happened in the past that they now need to manage. If it's a payment issue, so the bank requires a big deposit because of your equity or your affordability. Now, this is a tricky part because dealerships will not always be as direct as they should be with you and say, my car's over retail. And because they don't know how to handle the objections, most of them, some of them, not most of them. So if a dealership handles the objection eloquently and say, look, our car is over retail. We had a Land Cruiser, my record on a car being over retail was a Land Cruiser. It was 380,000 Rand over retail. Land Cruiser single cab V8. I had invoices on stuff that the customer had purchased and done on his Land Cruiser for 580,000 Rand. Okay, so almost 600,000 Rand. So I think retail was, I can't remember the figures, but we did. I was remember that video that we did when I touched the door handle on the Land Cruiser, then it started playing that Afrikaans music. Afrikaans liedjie. So that Land Cruiser, I called it a RDP house. It had like a RDP house at the back. It was loaded with like a canopy with a kitchen, and man, it was crazy. So the customer phones me, Uncle B, I want to finance the car. I said, sure, sweet. So before we continue the conversation, I would like to let you know that I'm 400,000 Rand above retail for the vehicle. And before you bite my head off, I will produce invoices on extras and accessories that's fitted to 500,000. Said, Akobi, I saw your car. It's got everything that I ever wanted and more. I understand. Said, having said that, I can hear from your tonality, your aggression, you know, I'm not going to sell you the car. The car sold the car on its own. What I'm going to ask is there a possibility that we put a 20 to 30% deposit down on this vehicle to have a high probability of success on an approval? He said, sweet, how much money do you need? So I said, sir, at least R250,000, 250, because I'm going to be on 140% of retail, but it's still 250,000 Rand too much that the bank won't finance. Are you with me? I'll put the 250 down. Let's do the application. I'll pay you the money now. And then we continue. The gentleman took the car, bargain of a lifetime. We had thousands of leads on the car, but you have to manage the expectation of a customer that way. If you cannot justify why your car is over retail, then you're expensive. If you can justify why your car is over retail, then you can have the conversation with the customer. So that's how you balance that. The next scenario will be the bank will require deposit on the podium. So declined, customer is buying too expensive, and max PD, and the bank will typically give a number. And I want you guys to, I think we should cut a short from this piece here.
Okay.
So what PD means is principal debt. So the bank will say max PD. Sorry, what happened? What happened?
I accidentally ended one of the Instagrams live, but I saw maybe.
Okay. So Elsie's pushing buttons here. She's going like this, like that cat on the gift. You remember that cat, Elsie?
Yeah.
So okay, let me restart again. If you get declined and you ask for the podium, and on the podium, the bank says max PD, and they'll give an amount. The PD stands for principal debt. So what is the final invoice amount, including all extras and all VAPs, value-added products, on this car that they are going to be able to finance? So whatever that PD is, that's the car's amount that you can buy. So for example, you apply for a Golf R, it's a 699 car, max PD is 340. Then you can buy most probably either a GTI or you can buy a Polo TSI for 340 max PD. Now, if the car costs 340 and there's an additional warranty of 15,000 Rand, that will have to come out of your pocket. I hope that makes sense. But PD stands for principal debt. So whatever the max PD is, that's the invoice amount at the end. That's very, very important on a decline. That's it. Are you happy?
Happiness. Are
Happiness?
you happy?
I'm very happy.
So,
if there are any questions, I can maybe pick it up.
Daar is 'n paar questions wat ek vir jou gestuur het op WhatsApp.
Okay, let's have a look at some of the questions. Did you kick more people off the live, Els? You didn't like them, so you just like end.
So stupid mistake. My God.
Okay, so Blanche Justin, is it wise to settle balloon payment or better to trade in? Should we pay off vehicle? Or is it not worth it? So it's a very open-ended question. If you like the car and you see yourself driving the car for another 24 months, pay the balloon, enjoy the car. If you are list for something new, obviously trade the vehicle in. If it's a high-risk car, and I'm not going to bash brands except my favorite one to bash, which is Land Rover, because Land Rovers tend not to be very, very reliable after the fact. I just want to quickly tell my friend, ek's op 'n live, sir, kan ek jou terugbel sodra dit klaar is? Lekker, bye. So if it's a Land Rover and the car's out of motor plan, out of warranty, and there's a balloon payment, then perhaps it's best to trade it in with something that has warranty, or maybe look at extending the warranty. But if it's a low-risk car, you're enjoying the car, it's sweet, it's doing its thing, what it needs to do, keep it, no problem. But if I have a little bit more context, then I'll be able to answer the question a little bit more accurately. How does additional income affect finance? Would all income be combined? So that's a good question. Thank you for asking. With a bank, it's like dealing with a lawyer. It's not what you know, but what you can prove. So if you say, I've got additional income because I rent rooms and I've built on, one of our colleagues has built on, I think 12 or 13 rooms at one of the properties. And for the beginning, because he bought other properties with it. You know, some of the guys, it's small amounts. Some of the guys were paying cash, or you know, that they had an arrangement, whatever that was. And you can't use that additional income. That second income can't be used. If it's paid in the bank and you have a legal binding contract, so a rental agreement, the bank will accept, then yes, they will be able to offer you the option of combined income. And with combined income, you can bring everything together and your affordability always grows. I hope that information helps you. But if you can't prove it, if you run a spaza shop next to the road and then you take cash and you put the cash under the bed and you say, but I've run a business and I'm generating 12 grand a month additional, but I can't prove it. Sorry, Buti, you're not going to be able to use that income. All right, next one. Uncle Bobby, the older the car, the higher the rate? Question mark. That's a good question. And it's not necessarily true. The older the car, the riskier the car, the higher the rate. However, if you have a consumer that is very, very strong, they will still get a very good rate. However, in one sentence, we had a very cool incident. I think it was on, I don't even know if it was on Monday or on Friday last week. I think it was on Monday. A customer bought a 2020 vehicle from us, and he got prime on a 2025 vehicle, like a month or two ago. And the bank would not give him prime. They gave him prime plus 2.5. And I went to the girl, because she sits in our office. I said, just stop being greedy. Give the guy prime. She says, system blocks us. I said, why does the system block you? She said, Bobs, the car he bought on prime is 2025. It's allowed. Our car that we're selling this gentleman is a 5-year-old car. It's prime plus 2.5. And then she worked out what the difference was in installment. And then it was a very small installment. I just want to grab this. Now someone alive. Is it very, very urgent, sir?
No. Not urgent. You will call me afterwards.
Okay, I'll call you when I'm done. I was just returning your call, brother.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to find out about a key for the training.
Cool. I'll call you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye. So going back to the answer of the question, because the vehicle is older, it was prime plus 2.5. But on a strong customer, it won't be 3% or 4%. It's a very minute, but there is always going to be that slight higher or slightly high interest rate on the older vehicle. Good question. Thank you. Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Before I let you guys go and before we end this live, I want you to know that we offer a one-on-one 90-minute session with myself and the team, depending on what you want to process about your business and about your teams. If it's marketing, we'll involve more of our team to give you insight on analytics, AI, how do we get 300,000 unique views per day, how do we structure our posts, what do we do, how do we create captions, tags, hashtags, latch onto big channels so that it drives viewership, what is the strategy we use for brand, for marketing, and then for direct sales, because it's a funnel. How do we treat this to this to this? So all of that can be squeezed in a 90-minute session. If you buy 2 of those sessions with us, you get a third one for free. The options are you can come to us, we'll record it in our studio, and we'll professionally edit it and send it to you. Or we can do it over Zoom if you're somewhere in the country and you can't get to us. Again, recorded, professionally edited, and sent to you. I'm going to train the trainer, and then you're going to transfer that information over to your teams and make sure that they deploy the information and the knowledge. I'm going to stay online for the next couple of minutes after we close this. If you have any questions, WhatsApp me on this number. You can take a screenshot. It's 082-542-6659. Send me a WhatsApp message, maybe from what industry you are. We consult influencers. We've got a cool new customer that does crypto. If I tell you who it is, you all know him. He's flipping aggressive. So he's already been with us twice. He's going to come for his 3rd session probably next week. We've done a security company. We've done tons of dealerships. There's lots of F&Is that come do my course. We won F&I of the year 3 years back to back, mega division. So year 1, we were first. Year 2, we were first. Year 3, we were first and second. And for 2025, we are trying our very best to be first, second, and third. We want to clean up. We want to take all the medals. So if you want to dive deeper into your marketing, finance and insurance, processes and procedures, operational stuff, I'm indeed available. 0825426659. We're going to be available for the next half an hour or so. Shoot me a message. We can have a conversation and see which dates are available. Between then and now, until our next session, which will be Masterclass Monday. See you guys. Thank you very much for joining us. And I hope we left